and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
103.3 The GOAT.
Yeah, that's the one.
K277TQ Lafayette, 1420 KPEL Lafayette.
The rumors are true.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Dave Schultz and SportsChat are back.
I'm back, baby! I'm back!
One change, though.
I'm sorry, that deal's now off the table.
What?
We live in a different world than we did just 30 seconds ago.
Instead of waking you up, he's taking you home from work.
Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch? I'd like that.
Talking Cajuns, Tigers, Saints, all of it.
I am the father.
Buckle up, Acadiana.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
It's time for Sports Chat with Dave Schultz on 103.3 The GOAT.
Welcome to another Monday edition of Sports Chat. Dave Schultz, Lyndon Burton on another, boy, it's hot outside.
Steaming.
It is hot outside. Great show for you today. We got tons of things to talk about and no chance we will get to all of it. I just saw the Orioles TV announcer was suspended for stating what the Orioles stats were against the Rays. Are we that touchy these days?
Oh, dang. Yeah, it's a little wild.
And it's not even his fault, right? He's just doing it. The producer usually comes up with the idea, and then the announcer goes with it. They show a graphic, and they move on. He's been suspended for 2 weeks, so that's crazy. Jeez. And the Orioles, I mean, everything is great with the Orioles this year, except that ridiculous move. All right, we are jam-packed today. Dimitri Ravanos from Bear Sports Media will join us. We'll talk about the demise of the Pac-12. Jacques Doucet will chat about LSU. And he's got an upcoming concert he wants to talk about. John Hendricks will talk Saints. I think we'll get Tim Brando on.
Nice.
All right. We'll talk more about the Pac-12 and college football. And Nick Kelly will join us, the one and only practice/scrimmage that the media get to see in Tuscaloosa. So we'll get our only real update on how that carrot cake is coming along for the quarterbacks at Alabama.
Okay.
Is it Milroe? Is it Simpson? Or is it Buckner? We do not know. And from what I read on Twitter, they seem to be in the same spot. Maybe gotten a little bit better since the spring, but 1 week into camp or so, maybe even just a few days into camp, nobody is standing head and shoulders above the rest. All right. I'm not sure if it's that big a deal now, but that's kind of what we thought the deal was with Alabama anyway. Excuse me. So that is why I'm predicting them to have at least 2 losses. I saw some hot takes from SEC Media Days. They think Alabama's going to finish third with 3 losses.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Oh, that'd be big. That'd be big for
that would be big.
LSU.
Yeah, it would be. All right, 269-1077, 269-1077. We got a fight in Tigers camp we'll get to with Jacques Doucet. Cajuns camp is underway. Got a right tackle position that's open. There's Halloween candy out before Labor Day. Lyndon, that seems to be an issue.
Why?
Why
is it an issue? It's the most closest holiday we got. They're putting it out early, getting people ready.
Why?
Because what other holiday is there to celebrate?
Labor Day?
Can't really do nothing for Labor Day.
That's exactly right. We do nothing, except you and I will be working.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you give the people.
How about just slow the roll? It's 2 months away.
I get it.
It's like 3 months away.
I'm not mad at it.
You want candy canes out next week then?
No. You gotta do Halloween, and then once Halloween ends, Christmas flooded.
And you just skip Thanksgiving.
Well, they always do that.
Oh,
yeah. So you know how that is.
All right. No,
but I'm pro not skipping Thanksgiving. Let that be said.
All right.
Because I love Thanksgiving.
I'm just like, why? Everybody's always in a hurry.
True.
I don't understand that. Everyone is always in a hurry. Just settle down, enjoy life a little bit.
Okay.
We Labor Day, not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. Nobody follows that rules anymore, right? School's starting. I saw school was starting early, like this week in Mobile, Alabama. I know school starts like next week in this area. Yeah. Where I'm from, school doesn't start until after Labor Day. Like the Tuesday after Labor Day, the New York State Fair goes, the last day is Labor Day. So it starts Tuesday after Labor Day, and God forbid you have one of the Jewish holidays at the same time. You may have another day off from school because they gave the kids off that as well. So, yeah, everyone just needs to slow down. We still have we have 4 weeks until Labor Day. That's not even, it's not like it's like next week. So, also, I'm going to end up buying candy corn, and I don't really want to. All right? That's the problem.
That's it. That's the problem. You don't want to buy
I don't want to buy the candy corn.
It's got to be out there, Dave.
Also, it kind of felt like it was last year's candy corn.
Oh.
It kind of tasted like it was.
Probably was until we get closer and put the real stuff out.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're getting rid of last year's supply. Is what it kind of feels like. All right, so, again, tons to talk about today. But we'll go back to last week and, the demise of the Pac-12 and what this means for college football and college sports in general. And I don't think it's great. I'm not the biggest fan of the Pac-12. I think they're frauds when they come to football. Obviously, they have a history of other sports. But I don't like the idea that we see all these people going to Congress and trying to get a limit on the NIL and the transfer portal. And the next thing you know, $30 million isn't enough for Florida State. They're looking for more. $20 million wasn't enough for the Pac-12. They're looking for more. Apparently last year, $30 million wasn't enough for the Pac-12. They're looking for more. And, outside of a handful of athletes who are getting somewhere between 4 and 5 figures, or maybe the other way around, maybe a handful of athletes getting 6 or 7 figures, and everyone's kind of happy with their, food deal or, Spencer Rattler's driving. What's he got? A Mercedes? Is he paying taxes?
Spencer Rattler? Oh, yeah. Let's see. I think it's something.
Oh, no. He got one of those
Mercedes?
G80s or whatever they are. Yeah,
okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
If that's his, good luck paying the taxes on that.
It's definitely his, but it might be a gift.
You're still paying taxes on it, brother.
True.
It doesn't matter,
True.
Still got to pay the taxes on it, gift or no gift. All right.
Yeah, this is a nice Mercedes.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So anyways, now we got these, these conferences, like the Pac-12 is no more. It's basically no more right now. All right. And by the way, there's no more rights to the Rose Bowl. It's very odd because the Rose Bowl is part of after this year, the Rose Bowl is part of the playoff. It may be part of the playoff this year, but they're definitely part of the playoff in 24 and 25, and we'll see what happens in 26.
You want it going, though. You're ready for it to be out of here.
Well, I am the Rose Bowl, because that's its own entity. Mm-hmm. That's its own entity. The Rose Bowl held up our playoff fun, which I am all for. But I also think that, college sports is not only about, the Texases and Oklahomas and the LSU and Alabamas, but it's also about the Oregon and Oregon states, the Iowa and the Iowa states, the Georgia Southern and App states. Just because everything doesn't have to be a top 25 matchup, all right, I don't think we need LSU and, ULM every week or, every year, something along those lines.
But you would like to have it.
That doesn't matter. No,
okay.
I don't know if I need that.
Okay.
I don't know if I need that. Okay. It would be nice if the Cajuns played LSU, but I don't know if I need it.
At least once.
I don't need... Once a decade would be nice.
Yeah,
but
once every 5 years.
But I don't need Troy beat them. Troy went in there and beat them, right? So I don't need, the gift of, and I know Syracuse basketball does all the time, doing the in-state thing. I think it helps the in-state schools, and that's fine, I guess. But we don't need that kind of mismatch. On a regular basis, people are going to get hurt.
I get that.
And so, but now it's not only about the football, right? Mm-hmm. All these football teams fly charter.
Yeah.
Now all these tennis teams, track teams, soccer teams, right? You're going to fly from, I heard, the the regent from from Michigan, wrote this, right? And he's all about the leadership that Michigan has, but he's like, just slow your roll because I can get to London faster from Ann Arbor than I can get to Eugene. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
Right? I don't know if you can go direct from Detroit or not to London, but, I know Auburn, just for the super regional at Oregon State, I guess in 2022, had all kinds of issues getting out there. And that's a super regional.
Yeah.
Right? That's not even a regular season thing in the middle of the week.
True.
Right? And so you're going to have people from Oregon trying to get to Piscataway and then commute to Rutgers. I mean, I know it's all about football and they drive all the money, and I appreciate that. But really, no one is caring about the student athlete.
Zero.
No care about that.
Zero.
Now, Eli Drinkwitz came out and said nobody is caring about the student athlete. Of course, Missouri, I'm not sure Missouri, has any, right to say anything. Not that he was there when they joined the SEC, but right, Missouri was in the Big 12, and they were much closer to their opponents, and now they're not nearly as close to their opponents as they were when they were in the Big 12. And by the way, Eli Drinkwitz, talk about riding the wave, right? The Cincinnati coach, Scott. The Cincinnati coach is the guy who built App State.
Okay.
He went to Louisville. He hasn't done all that well.
Let me look his name up. Cincinnati coach. Not Luke Fickell. No?
Scott Satterfield.
Oh, Scott Satterfield.
Scott Satterfield built up App State. All right? He went to Louisville, hadn't done all that well, but somehow he moved up to Cincinnati.
Okay. Gotcha.
But Eli Drinkwitz, 1 year at App State and turned that into Missouri. So he went from, probably making a couple $100,000 as an assistant coach, then making probably $750,000 as the head coach of App State, and now making multi-millions. And I think he got an extension.
Jeez. Yeah. And they talk about transfer portals and kids making, it's just hypocrisy.
I think from the unintended consequences, we're going to see a lot less college sports.
Oh.
That's what I think. I think we're going to lose some college sports.
Oh, that's
And here's the thing. Due to Title IX, you start losing some women's sports, you're going to start losing some men's sports.
Some facts.
Whatever that case may be.
You cannot lose a single women's sport, because if you do, the men's ones are out of here.
Right. And so, we're going to find out. We're going to find out how. What'd you say?
If you had to guess, not to interrupt you, what sports do you think we would lose?
I mean, are we going to lose tennis? Are you going to lose swimming?
And see, tennis, you can make it just like a club thing to where it's professionals go and like the best of the best. Basically, how Europe
tennis doesn't cost a whole lot.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying.
You know what does, though?
What?
Swimming.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's not a whole lot of uniform, but someone's got to keep track of the pool.
Yep.
Right?
That I could see tennis and swimming becoming a club thing where you bypass
soccer.
And look, they want it to be a club thing where you have like these young, these clubs where kids 17, 16 can go and basically train and get ready for the MLS.
Yeah, but so I worked at the Jim McLean Golf School, and some of these parents are a little wacky what they think, how good their
kids are, for sure.
But for the most part, they're level-headed. They're spending, you know what they're doing? They're spending a lot of money trying to get their kid a scholarship. All right, and that's probably at a golf school. At golf, it's probably a third or a half a scholarship. These people have a lot of money because it's a couple $100 for the cheap. Back in the day, it was like $150 an hour for the cheapest instructor at Jim McLean Golf School. And if you wanted the good ones or the experienced ones, it's like $320 an hour. And these guys are coming for 1 or 2 hours a time, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. They're spending a lot of money trying to get that college scholarship. Now, it can't all be to whoever the good golf schools are, Oklahoma State or Florida, but it doesn't matter. Just get me a college scholarship, and that'll take care of that.
Let me look up college athletics.
That's what they're kind of looking for, right? So a lot of people, when you get a scholarship on soccer, when you get a track and field scholarship, baseball scholarship, softball scholarship, it's just a little bit to help you to get to college. It'll be very interesting to see if some of these people can't get to college because they can't afford it.
Yeah, geez.
And some of these athletes are going to be stuck. And you think the transfer portal is going
it's going to be crazy.
For Cocoa Puffs. Now, wait till I don't know if I don't know if Jerry Glasgow needs any help now and if he's got any room left, but I'm sure he's looking at who went in the transfer portal. If they can still do it from the softball.
Yeah, true.
You know, from all those Pac-12 schools, that I'm out. I'm out.
So here's a list of the NCAA, because this is very intriguing to me, of who can leave. I have a list of all the NCAA sports that they are. So,
well, okay, we could do that later.
Okay,
all right, we got to take a break. We're up against a break. We got Dimitri Ravanos, who he's going to tell us how the Pac-12 got into this mess, which we sort of discussed before, anyways. But we got Dimitri from Bear Sports Media hopping on. Hey, Acadiana, quick reminder, download the 103.3 GOAT app. Of course, it's free, and the best part is you'll always be able to hear the best sports talk in Acadiana, no matter where you are. SportsChat, Inside the Huddle, and live Ragin Cajun sports action. When you download the 103.3 GOAT app, you'll receive notifications on upcoming show guests, breaking news, and updated sports stories. So download the 103.3 GOAT app today and never be too far from the best sports talk in Acadiana. Dimitri Ravanos, Bear Sports Media, up next on a Monday afternoon Sports Chat, 103.3 The GOAT.
Don't let someone get your goat. There's plenty to go around for everyone. 103.3 The GOAT, the greatest sports talk of all time.
Lafayette Roofing, from the roof to the roots of Acadiana. We know issues with your roof can be intimidating and maybe even expensive, but not if you call Lafayette Roofing. Big or small, we handle it all at a price you can afford. We also offer our standard 5-year labor and materials warranty. Lafayette Roofing takes pride in being in the heart of Acadiana and the official roofing company of your Ragin Cajuns. So if you need a roof, who else would you call? Call Lafayette Roofing. Our name says it all. 237-ROOF. That's 237-7663.
Before I was adopted, I felt alone.
I felt nervous that I wouldn't have a family.
I was getting older and older. I didn't think I was going to get adopted.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Lexi, Connor, and LaShawna now have a forever family and the foundation for a bright future.
When I was adopted, it was like, wow, I get to settle, and this is permanent.
After I was adopted, I felt happy.
Adoption changed me for the better. I feel like I can be whoever I want to be.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find forever families for children who have been lingering in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease, causing him to spend the first 8 months of his life in the hospital. During that time, he endured 10 surgeries, including an open heart surgery. Starlight Children's Foundation has played an important role in my family's life. For 5 weeks when he was a baby, Finn lived in a Starlight Hero wagon. You could not understand the pure joy of having him go from a hospital bed into his favorite red wagon, especially when he was so little. The support that Starlight provides to families like mine is an integral part of creating happiness at a time when there's very little to be found. Learn more about how the Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids by visiting starlight.org today.
St. Joseph's Indian School is much more than a school for Native American children.
It's like a family. Classes are fun here. I am learning about my culture.
Since 1927, St. Joseph's Indian School has provided children the education, health care, and support they need to succeed. To help give our kids brighter futures, learn more at stjo.org today.
For many servicemen and women, the battle doesn't end when they come home. And I know, because I too struggle with the invisible wounds of service. Pups for Patriots and Sam literally changed my life. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or a traumatic brain injury, go to AmericanHumane.org to learn more about the Pups for Patriots Service Dog Program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
A message from American Humane.
Thirsty for intelligent sports talk? Sounds like you need a little Gatorade. 103.3 The GOAT, the greatest sports talk of all time.
All right, Jacques Doucet from WAFB in Baton Rouge will join us. LSU with a little tiff during the practice today. Also, quick update with the wasn't exactly the rumble in the jungle, but it was the bash in Cleveland.
A lot of fights.
The White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson received a 6-game suspension, and Guardians third baseman Jose Ramirez received a 3-game suspension. There are other suspensions, and that was quite the fight, with Ramirez landing a hook after ducking out of the way of Tim Anderson's right. All right, let's talk about what happened to the Pac-12. We're hoping he's not taking a bubble bath, because that was TMI, baby. He is Dimitri Ravanos from Bear Sports Media. Dimitri, thanks for hopping on. How are you?
I'm happy to be here, but please tell the people about college football bubble bath every Friday.
I mean, I need to warn them. Yes, it is Dimitri taking a bubble bath. And he's clothed as you would expect while taking a bubble bath. So that was a little bit TMI for me. All right, tell us about. Although it was a very good episode, tell me about what happened with the Pac-12, because it really didn't happen overnight. This has gone on for a decade, and on how they ended up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, more than a decade, really, because you got to think all the way back to when we started doing the conference network thing, and the Big Ten Network was the first one out of the gate, and they partnered with Fox, and then we got the SEC Network, which was partnered with Disney, ESPN, and the Pac-12, which at the time was run by Larry Scott. Rather than partner with anybody, not only did the Pac-12 decide they were going to completely own their own game inventory, they also made it clear to all of these media companies and all of these satellite and cable providers they didn't want to do business with them. So how do you think that worked out for them, Dave? Like, they had real trouble finding carriers to even put the Pac-12 network on within the Pac-12 footprint. So fast forward to this year when the league is out looking for a new media deal, and lo and behold, those people didn't forget the way they were treated by the Pac-12. And that's how we got to where we are now.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand. So there are a lot of smart people at some of these institutions: Stanford, Washington, Cal, USC, Broadcasting School, UCLA, Broadcasting and Film School. When they saw what the other places were doing, right? Like you said, the Big Ten was first, then the SEC comes in after the Pac-12 starts out, and the Pac-12 is just not doing as well. Why didn't anybody tell the Pac-12 network, or the Pac-12 for that fact of matter, hey, these guys are getting a lot more money than you are, and we can find them, right? We can see the Big Ten down here. We can see the SEC down here. But the Pac-12 had all kinds of issues, like you said, getting it carried in even Pac-12 areas. Why didn't they make the adjustment even after a couple of years?
Because at that point, so much had been invested that there was no real easy way to turn back and not lose a ton of money. Remember, Larry Scott, when he was the commissioner of the Pac-12, made a big deal out of not just moving the league offices to San Francisco, but moving the league offices to some of the most expensive real estate in San Francisco, which before it was expensive to live everywhere in this country, was the most expensive place that you could possibly set up shop. And on top of that, you are talking about a network that decided its thing, I guess, was going to be some of the more luxuriously appointed studios in the entire sports media space. So much was invested. That's like the headline. The sub-headline is that basically all these schools got sold a bill of goods by Larry Scott, who, yes, had come from the broadcasting world, but he came from the tennis channel, right? Like, it's not like he came from any of these companies with deep relationships that would bail the Pac-12 out. Like they could have gone to other people in the past that could have worked these relationships as commissioner. Like, Larry Scott was all about forget the realities of college football right now. We are going to be ahead of the curve 10 years from now. And I think that's a trap the Pac-12 gets trapped in a lot for the reason that you mentioned. It is a lot of smart schools. It is a lot of West Coast thinking. And by that, I mean, innovation always moving forward, that sometimes you forget to get to 2033. You got to go through 2023 first.
We're talking to Dimitri Ravanos from Bear Sports Media. Do you think we're going to see some college sports go by the wayside because they just can't afford to, ship the soccer and the track team across the country?
I mean, I think more than likely we will see some of these schools that are not in the Big Ten, not in the SEC. I think more likely we are going to see football-only conferences before we start to see sports being cut. I mean, I think that if USC and UCLA and now Oregon and Washington are dead set on doing everything they can within the Big 10 footprint, that's going to be tough. That's going to get expensive. And on top of that, there are a whole lot of sports that the Big Ten just does not field, does not sponsor, that those schools play. So at some point, like, they've got the infrastructure to exist without, or I guess within multiple conferences is probably more realistic way to say it. I think we are looking at football going to the hockey model faster than we are schools dropping sports they've had for a long, long time.
All right, so let's wrap it up here with Dimitri Ravanos from Bear Sports Media. What do you think is the next dominoes to fall? What happens to Cal and Stanford? And then what about the ACC? We're waiting on that. Apparently $30 million isn't enough for Florida State. They think they can get more elsewhere. The problem is nobody seems to want them yet.
Well, and that's the reality, right? Who needs Florida State? Like, the SEC has Florida. Why do they need Florida State? The SEC, by the way, wanted Florida State in 92, and Bobby Bowden said no. So why would the SEC go knocking on that door now that they don't need anybody? To me, the only way that there is another significant domino to fall, because I know what the talk is with the ACC and Cal and Stanford. That is ridiculous. Cal and Stanford don't even want to be playing football. I think that the reality is that we are about to see just how influential the media money is, because while the SEC is perfectly happy to be at 16 teams, if the Big 12 moves to, the Big 10 moves to 18 now, they might move to 20. How happy is ESPN going to be to just stand pat with a 16-team SEC? It doesn't matter that you have all the helmet schools. You are now out of business with 5 really significant college football brands. I could see ESPN pressuring the SEC to start expanding a little bit more here.
Brand new episode of College Football Bubble Bath. We're talking about the Dogs. Does UGA have the easiest path to the CFP ever? I've seen more Dimitri, and apparently still suitable for work video with him in a bubble bath. Do you have the bath? Do you have the bubble sponsored yet?
No, we're getting there. We're working on a number of things.
Okay. All right. Very good. So tell people about
let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you and your listeners, Dave, about luxurious Amazon Essentials brand bubble bath.
All right. You want to tell people about the college football bubble bath?
Yeah, every Friday on the OG media, all of the social media accounts. But you can just go to my Twitter account at Dimitri Ravanos. Every Friday it's up.
Well, good luck with that. All right. Please make sure there's plenty of bubbles. I'm concerned with the video. He is Dimitri Ravanos from Bear Sports Media and the College Football Bubble Bath. That's a phrase I never thought I would utter on the radio. Thanks for coming on the show, Dimitri.
All right, boys. Thanks.
Hey, look, that's a good way to market yourself and being different, that you host your show in a bubble bath.
Yeah.
That's what I gather. That's what he does, right?
Dimitri's a large man.
He's a bigger guy.
He's a bigger guy.
So he takes a bath and talks about college sports.
Yeah.
Hey, that's smart. I give it to him, because also as a bigger guy myself,
right?
You gotta embrace it and utilize it.
Put a shirt on.
Nah, Dave, it's different.
Imagine it's different. I'm telling you.
Imagine if he's sitting in a tub.
There's a whole lot of Dimitri on that video.
But imagine if he's sitting in a tub in a bubble bath with a T-shirt on and everything else is getting wet. Doesn't work. If you do it without the shirt, it's like, okay, he's taking a bath and we're talking sports. Like, it's a better look, because let me tell you, as big guys, you always, when I went to a pool, every big guy I know wore the T-shirt in the pool. And it's like, at some point, big guys had to take a stand for themselves and say, no, we don't need the shirt.
I'm not going to shame him.
You can shame me.
But if you don't like what you see, you're going to turn off the episode.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's the issue. All right.
Well, some people might turn on to laugh. So you're getting all kind of different views.
You might. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll be back. Jacques Doucet from WASB in Baton Rouge will join us next. We'll talk some LSU. A little fight broke out. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's competition.
Yeah, but I know it's hot out there, but we haven't been doing this for a week yet. Right?
Look, they're going after it. I like that.
It's about a week.
I'm gonna ask
you
John
had two
Barry.
receivers going at it. They're not competing, but they're not competing against each other.
It's
not
I'm
directly.
making catches better than you. No, I'm making catches better than you. What you gonna say? Boo, push. We getting into it. I like it. Competition.
No, that's immaturity is what that is. All right. Back after this. Dave Schultz, Lyndon Burton, 103.3 to go.
Don't let someone get your goat. There's plenty to go around for everyone. 103.3 The GOAT, the greatest sports talk of all time.
Your safety has always been priority one at GiveMeTheVIN.com. At GiveMeTheVIN.com, the transaction is online and over the phone. And then we pick up the vehicle with no direct contact and provide your check indirectly. Don't risk your safety with retailers or strangers. Just go to GiveMeTheVIN.com, enter your VIN number and a picture or two, and get your best offer quickly and safely. Get your best bid and a check on the spot with GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best and safest car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Parents, are you tired of helping put your kids' shoes on? They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable. Find Skechers Slip-ins for kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I want to share with you the experience of Donna in Washington. She writes, I got injured about 5 years ago. I was let go when, because of the injury, I couldn't keep up with my schedule. I've tried to find other work, but I'm 68 now. No one wants to hire someone that old. This week is tough, though, because I had to get my tooth fixed. So I only have $10 in my checking account. But it will be okay. I at least have food because of this pantry. Millions of people face hunger. Some every day, just like Donna. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
If it wasn't for goats, we wouldn't have coffee. Look it up.
I want to get some coffee. You want some coffee? No, thank you. I'm fine.
And the best sports talk in Acadiana. 103.3 The GOAT.
Send away for the echoes of angels that won't return. He's everything you want. He's everything you need. He's everything inside of you that you wish you could be. He says all the right things at exactly the right time, but he means nothing to you when you don't know.
All right, Dave Schultz, Lyndon Burton on a Monday afternoon sports chat, 103.3 The GOAT. Apparently, Lyndon he didn't even tell me this. He's going to be, he's cheating on me. He's got another gig. We'll get over it later. Okay. All right, I'm not really happy about that.
But I'm not cheating on you.
Could have asked. By the way, or just let me know. He didn't even have to ask.
Well, I'll explain later.
Considering he leaves the station at like 6 o'clock in 30 seconds. Now he's going to be doing something else. All right. 4 o'clock, we got John Hendricks. We'll talk Saints. We'll see how the workouts went with a couple of free agents coming in. Let's talk about what happened in Baton Rouge today. We got our guy Jacques Doucet from WAFB. Jacques, it's getting a little heated as the temperatures rise to the triple digits, huh?
Yeah, there was a skirmish fight with the LSU team today. Certainly nothing unusual for this time of year throughout America at football practices. And certainly, as you alluded to, won't bore people with the weather report, but certainly talking to Jay Grimes, who's the best in the business here in Baton Rouge, we're 8 or 9 degrees higher each day than we should be this time of year. The heat is absolutely brutal. I've become what I despise. I can't stand people in April who say, it's so hot, I can't go outside. You know, the weather's great, but it's really bad. And so, it was a skirmish. There were guys pushing and shoving, a big wad of people. Some hit the ground, and a couple of them were asked to leave practice and not come back. And Coach Kelly at least let one of his staffers dropped a few F-bombs on him and told him that went on way too long, that somebody should have stepped in and broken it up. And so, you know, how many of these happened during the Nick Saban, Les Miles, at Orgeron time? I don't know, because we weren't in there to watch. So today this was kind of a benefit to us and kind of a negative to them that we were there to watch it and to see it, because normally we aren't.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did Malik Neighbors get into it with Kyron Lacey? Because those guys are on the same side of the ball.
I don't think they got in it together. I think Harold Perkins was in there a bit. I mean, it was during 11-on-11 work. I mean, they were scrimmaging, so to speak. And Malik did leave practice. He did walk off the field. And I think Kyron Lacey was supposed to be part of the player interviews today at noon. And I think he was also asked to leave practice, so he didn't show up for interviews. So we were supposed to interview like 4 or 5 guys. We interviewed 2. Right. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened. I caught it like after it had started. I was watching something else, and I turned and looked, and then they had started to push and shove. But, you know, you hear these stories. I mean, we weren't in there in 2019 when Joe Burrow and Patrick Queen apparently got into a big push and shoving match, and people look back on that now as a great thing in that national championship year. So, you know, it's a big deal on August the 7th. It probably means nothing on September the 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I found it interesting. A couple wide receivers, I thought they got into it with each other. So I found that odd. I don't think it happens to be a big deal. It's a little bit quick is the only thing. If this was like in a week and a half, you know, but we're not even a week into camp. That's the only thing. If this was, you know, after the first or second scrimmage, then it'd be like, all right, well, that makes sense. These guys are just, you know, asking to play somebody else. But, I mean, this is like practice number 5.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, typically when camp starts, it's kind of like Christmas morning. We're all excited. The media, we all run out there. The players all run out there. It's the guys wearing the helmets and the uniform, and here we go. And then, you know, by mid-August, August 10th, 11th, 12th, everyone's beat down by the heat. We're tired. We've all done all the features we can on the different people, so to speak, and then we're ready to finally play a game. So, yeah, for it to be August 7th and I think this is the 4th practice or something like that, that's a good point. But, you know, just back to the heat thing again. I mean, the first day of practice, Deuce Chestnut, welcome to Louisiana from Syracuse. Yep. I mean, sorry for the language for the listeners, but he yacked right in front of us. You know, it was nice and clear. It was watery. It wasn't a vegetable soup variety, but he did throw up, and he was on the sideline for a while and did not get back in there. So, you know, Syracuse, it snows up there during graduations in May. A little different down here.
Hey, but didn't you just hired somebody from Syracuse? Did he yak on that sidelines too?
One of the best broadcasting schools in the country. I mean, we're not talking about that. I mean, look at all the sportscasters you guys have produced. Give me a break. Yeah, of course, but it is cold up there.
It can get chilly. Yes, it can. All right, so let's get away from the fighting. Who's looked good? How? Let's just start with the quarterback. How has Jaden Daniels looked in what you've seen so far?
Well, he continues to be the face, the leader, that, you know, there's no controversy in terms of, you know, they brought him to SEC Media Days, and apparently he's got the second best odds to win the Heisman. Today, I don't know if he completed any balls deep down the field while we watched. He's still pretty good in the intermediate stuff. Then you watch Garrett Nussmeier. He comes out there, and he flings a deep one down the sideline to Shelton Sampson for a big gain. And then he flings a deep one down the sideline and hits Chris Hilton from Zachary for a big gain. And then he rolls out of the pocket, and then he tries to make something happen, and he sidearms one that gets intercepted by Andre Sam. And it was Garrett Nussmeier in a nutshell, right? I mean, he hits two big plays and he turns the ball over once. I think Jaden is bigger, stronger. Everything about this operation is cleaner, better, less guess, more work, productive than it was a year ago when they didn't know who the offensive line was, who was going to play offensive line, who was the quarterback. I mean, I think that they are all much more comfortable. Mason Taylor came and talked to us today. He's put on 10 pounds. He looks like an Avenger. I mean, he's looking like he's ready to go out and have another big season just as a true sophomore. So there's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but Jaden Daniels just has to improve on 17 touchdowns in 14 games. Got to get that touchdown total up when it comes to throwing it down the field.
How's Mason Smith look?
I do the same thing, too, by the way. My brain always wants to,
right.
Am I saying Mason Taylor, Mason Smith, So, but I just try to think of Dad, right? Jason Taylor. So,
I think that's what I did.
Mason Smith looks great. I think I heard one of the media guys say, "Man, he was dominating on the scrimmaging today up front. They were having a hard time dealing with him." So he's on a revenge tour, so to speak. Of course, he hurt his knee on the very first drive of the game last year against Florida State. Nobody could have handled the process any better than he did in terms of not pouting and going and sulking and, I'm not playing, so I'm in a bad mood. I mean, every game was warming up with the team or trying to help them warm up or down the sideline. He makes the trip to the bowl game. He participates in everything. He speaks at the pep rally. He's helping his teammates warm up again before the game. And so, I think he's got the ultimate team attitude, and he could be, I don't know who the best player on the team is, but certainly he's got a chance to be the highest draft pick, I would think. And he called me Mr. Jock the other day, which just made me feel very old. But that's the case.
Well, I appreciate them when they actually know your name. I know you're over there, but these guys see so many people. It is impressive. All right, what are your expectations for LSU this year?
I think that this team can make a New Year's Day 6 game and win it and go 11-2 or something like that. That's just my gut. It's so different than a year ago, and Kim Mulkey and company amazingly pulling a rabbit out of their hat, and Jay Johnson and company living up to expectations have established this whole kind of dynamic that Brian Kelly is, quote unquote, on the clock. And Brian Kelly, pressure's on him, which to an extent is kind of ridiculous. I think that if, they've got to go to Alabama this year, who's kind of got a weird quarterback situation going. They've got this huge game against Florida State out of the box. Those are the two games that come to mind. But also, Dave, I'm kind of thinking, how did this team really play after they beat Alabama last year? They wobbled around with Arkansas in the cold. They got punched in the mouth at A&M, and they really were kind of outclassed by Georgia. So there was some kind of wobbly football down the stretch that was kind of camouflaged by the fact that, they won a bowl game 63-7 and sent everything to a positive direction. So I think they're a very good team. I think that a 10-2 regular season should make everyone very happy. Can they be better than that? Maybe so. We'll just have to see. This cornerback position, Dave, is interesting because you've got Zy Alexander on one corner who was playing at Southeastern and Hammond last year, and you got Deuce Chestnut on the other side. And so that is a position that they look a little questionable at the moment.
The problem with Deuce is he's very good, but he was banged up all last year. Every time we needed him to play, we being Syracuse, he was on the sidelines.
Yeah. You don't want to look. God bless him. 7 banks last year from Ohio State. You waited and it just didn't happen. So, Gerard Bernard Converse, he was a huge pickup, and And so they've kind of done this 2 years in a row where they are purging at the cornerback position and using the free agency portal, so to speak, to plug guys in. I'm sure he would like to be able to recruit some guys who are going to play for 3 years and know who he's got on the corners.
Yeah, I think Deuce had a breakout freshman year or maybe redshirt sophomore year. All right, let's wrap it up here with Jacques Doucet from WAFB. Always does some great fundraising and charitable work. What is going on this summer?
Well, we've had a great summer so far with Red Rock and Blue. We raised money for those local Louisiana military charities like Blue Star Moms of Louisiana and Wounded War Heroes. We had a huge softball tournament, and we've got a big concert coming up, not this Saturday, but next. You opened up the interview with Vertical Horizon, Everything You Want. Vertical Horizon will be here in Baton Rouge on August the 19th at the Varsity Theater. Of course, they sold 3 million copies of the album Everything You Want way back in the year 2000 and had the number one song in America, most played song with Everything You Want, and followed up with You're a God and Best I Ever Had, 2 other smash hits and some others. So that's at the Varsity Theater. It's just $35 ticket. There's some limited VIP on sale, which is an open bar and food from the Chimes. And it's at varsitytheater.com. You can get your tickets and come over and see us in Baton Rouge and raise some money for a great cause.
Can you get that? You can get the tickets at varsity.com?
varsitytheater.com, or you can buy them at the door while they last the night of the show.
All right. He is, and we may have some tickets to give away. So stay tuned for that. He is Jacques Doucet. Thanks for coming on, Jacques, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
All right, Dave. Anytime.
All right. Jacques Doucet.
The one thing that got me, Jaden Daniels really second for the Heisman?
Odds
second. Like, I would assume Michael Penix Jr. is above him.
Why?
Just bigger names. And Drake May, bigger names.
Drake May, bigger name, not Michael Penix Jr.
Okay, I just assumed.
Michael Penix Jr. had one good year, just like Jaden Daniels.
Fair. I just because of the
Kuipers
for more yards.
He threw for more yards last year. Yeah,
Kuiper and McShay both have him like as their top quarterbacks. Number 3, of course, behind Caleb and Drake May. So I just assumed because he was number 3 on their boards, he would be higher than Jaden Daniels in the Heisman.
I don't think it's that big a difference. So we could, I'll quickly look. Okay. You want to take us to break.
Yeah,
gotcha. We can find it here. NCAA futures. More NCAA futures.
Just because, like, I just
Heisman
wouldn't assume he would be that high. I'd assume he'd be like number 4 or 5.
Caleb is plus 500.
Yeah, number 1.
He's the defending Heisman winner. Jaden Daniels is plus 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Penix is plus 1,600.
Oh, wow.
So
where's Drake May?
Drake May is plus 1,800.
Wow. So Jaden's above both of them. You think that's because of his rushing ability as well?
I think people have higher hopes for LSU
gotcha.
than they do Carolina.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Like, Bo Nix has fallen. He was second.
Yeah.
He's plus 1,800 too.
Wild. Yeah. Okay, Jaden. Yeah. We need to talk about, when we come back from break, are these expectations realistic?
Okay. Yeah. All right. And how you're, cheating on me.
I'll explain. I'm not. I'm still in the building.
Back after this. Dave Schultz, Linda Burton, 103.3 to go.
At the Rustic Renegade, it's all about service and the product.
We're really particular about the product that we bring in. We bring in product that we buy, we test, we tear it up, we break it. So we're constantly growing our inventory, we're constantly expanding it. And if we find something that, hey, look, a customer had a problem with this or we had a problem with it, it goes away.
See the latest from great brands like Remington, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, and Springfield Armory USA. Visit The Rustic Renegade and TheRusticRenegade.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seats for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Dan Hicks with Paul Azinger, welcoming you back to the Healthy Stand Classic. And Zing, she has been absolutely tremendous today, but it all comes down to this shot.
It does, Dan, and you couldn't ask for better conditions. 68 degrees, just a slight 2-mile-an-hour breeze, and a UV index of 3. This is absolutely critical.
That is right. This direct exposure to midday sun could be increasing her risk to melanoma.
It looks like she's making a change.
Yeah, she's putting that putter back in the bag. Now let's see what she takes out.
Oh, wow. It looks like she's pulling out a 15.
I don't know. It looks like she's going with a 30.
Strong choice. She's going to want to use the recommended SPF 30 even on a cloudy day.
And notice how she's using broad spectrum sunscreen.
And a generous amount, too.
Incredible.
That was a masterful performance.
That was pretty good, too.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
Mess with the goat. You'll get the horns, then the butt. Because that's what goats do. 103.3, The Goat.
All right, Dave Schultz, Lyndon Burton on a Monday afternoon sports chat, 103.3 The Goat. We'll talk to John Hendricks coming up. We'll talk Saints. Kareem Hunt was in camp today.
Big news. Excited about that.
Anthony Barr was in camp.
Nice. Like that.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I had to look up who Eno Benjamin was.
Yeah, he was a Saints guy. He wasn't. I didn't
3 games last.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to get much time. But Kareem Hunt, that's a big thing now. I feel bad for Jamal Williams a little bit.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if he signs.
We'll see how that works. Yeah, no, for sure.
Usually these guys, if they leave without signing.
Oh, yeah, then they don't come.
They don't usually sign.
Gotcha, you're right.
When you get here and they check you out if you're okay physically, even if you got to lose 5 or 10 pounds, whatever the case may be, because you haven't been in camp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they take that. Now, if you're 20 or 30 pounds overweight, they're going to take that into consideration. You're not ready to work out. All right, you want to tell people you get another gig?
Yeah, look, I'm not cheating on you. I'm still in Town Square.
All right.
I'm still doing the sports shows with you and in the morning.
All right.
But Dave, I'm a man of many talents, as you know from my podcast network. I don't just talk sports. I'm a pop culture fiend.
If you do say so yourself.
Yeah, of course, got to give myself credit. And so every night going forward on the hip hop / Top 40 station 107.9, our sister station, I'll be hosting the night show. It's called Lenny at the Night Show. Because it's a play on Travis Scott's song, Antidote, where he says, ooh, at the night show, ooh. So it's Lenny at the Night Show. Super excited. But one of the main reasons why I really wanted to take the gig, because it'll be simulcast on XXL's radio station as well, which is the premier hip-hop magazine and media format in America. So super excited about that.
So let me get this straight. When's that show?
An hour after ours.
Okay. And for how long?
Well, it's 7 to midnight, but I won't be, going live until midnight. So, because there's some DJ mixes in there and there's some other stuff going on.
All right. Because what time's the morning show?
7 o'clock. Look, man, hardest working man in media, baby. I'm trying to get it, Dave. I'm trying to make it to where I can be one of when you think of my generation, I want them to think Lyndon Burton's the premier media guy, or one of them.
All right.
So, and I remember Stephen A. Smith, I watched an interview with him. He said when you're climbing, Stephen did like 4 shows a day. Like he was working his butt off and didn't get a lot of sleep. And I feel like while I'm young, I might as well go for it. Shoot for the stars.
Right.
So. But yeah, I'm not leaving you. I'd let you know if I was leaving you.
I just making sure, because when I get a text message at 6:30 and say, hey, I just got up, can you fill in for me? I'm just going to be ready for that text.
Okay.
All right.
For sure. But you won't get it. I'll make sure of that.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good for you. All right.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you always supporting me. Like I said, you're my favorite boss I've ever had in the sports station.
Did you,
and overall,
did you get to play the nephew in
No,
NBA
he did not hit me up.
Well, you have his number.
Oh, yeah, I do. I do have his number. Well, I'll hit him up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hit him up this weekend.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
But excited nonetheless. 7 to 12.
Starting tonight.
Lenny at the night show. Tune in. We're going to be talking and all kind of stuff. And I'm excited that it's night because after dark, I can ask some relationship questions.
Oh.
We can get a little risque.
Oh, boy.
And also I'm excited because I get to, Didge told me that
Are
I
you
can
going to be in a
use this
bubble
time.
bath with your shirt off?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, but
thank goodness.
I'm also excited because I get to showcase new Louisiana artists.
All right, good.
Yeah, and do interviews and stuff. So it'll be good for everyone around.
All right. Did you watch? And we'll get into this later. John Hendricks coming on talking Saints. You watched Winning Time last night?
Oh, Dave, I was getting ready for the shows, so I missed it. I'm watching it. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'll be ready. We can talk episode 1 tomorrow. Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay. Was it good?
It was good. I mean, it can't be a spoiler alert. Some things
everything
I did not
happened.
know. It already happened. Two things I did not remember.
Okay.
And I had to go back and look who won the championships. So.
Okay, so now I'm excited because that tells me we got something good to look forward to.
Yeah, I think it was great.
You hit up Perlman?
I have not. I keep on forgetting.
You got to hit up Perlman.
You know what? I'll hit him up right now. All
cool
right.
deal.
Dave Schultz, Linda Burton on a Monday afternoon sports chat. John Hendricks talking Saints, and then Tim Brando, 4:30, talking college football on a Monday afternoon sports chat. 103.3 The GOAT.
If it wasn't for goats, we wouldn't have coffee. Look it up.
I want to get some coffee. You want some coffee? No, thank you. I'm fine.
And the best sports talk in Acadiana. 103.3 The GOAT.
Creating the perfect tasty and healthy salad. Coming up next from Piggly Wiggly. Salads should be a lot more complex than just adding lettuce and ranch dressing. A good salad should be a contrast in flavors and looks and textures. If you're serious about your salad, make sure you use those contrasts. For everything crunchy in your salad, you should add something soft. For everything sweet, something a little tart. And just keep building your salad until it's the way you like it. Okay, so much for the stuff that's good for you. Next time, we're talking French fries. Oh, yes, we are.
For more great ideas, visit gotothepig.com.
Check out the back-to-school savings this week at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly. Fresh leg quarters in the 10-pound bag are just $4.99 each. Limit 2, please. Red ripe strawberries in the 1-pound package, 2 for $5. And always save yellow onions, a 2-pound bag, 2 for $3. In Cecilia, Church Point, Opelousas Spring, and Scott. Prices good through August 8th.
At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Lafayette area. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. We also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. At Lofton, we put people to work. Lofton.jobs.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $35.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.